Krav Maga is not a martial art in the traditional sense. It is a system of self-defense and combat. Its name translates from Hebrew to contact combat. This name honestly tells you everything you need to know about its purpose. It's designed for one thing: survival. There are no forms, no katas, and no competitions. The goal is to neutralize a threat as quickly and as effectively as possible. It's a practical system for a dangerous world. We teach students to handle real-life violent situations. The training prepares you for the unexpected, for the chaos of a real attack, and gives you the tools to go home safe. The core of Krav Maga is built on the body's natural, instinctive reactions. When you are startled or attacked, your body already knows how to react. You flinch. You raise your hands to protect your face. You move away from danger. We take these natural responses and refine them. We build upon them to create powerful and effective defensive and offensive techniques. This approach makes Krav Maga easier to learn and remember under stress. It doesn't ask you to perform complex, beautiful movements that fall apart when you are afraid. Instead, it harnesses your fear and your adrenaline, turning your instinct into a weapon for survival. Imagine a system that prepares you for any scenario. It doesn't matter if you're facing an attacker with a knife, a gun, or if you are up against multiple opponents. Krav Maga addresses these realities. It is a comprehensive system that covers defense against a wide array of attacks, both armed and unarmed. We train students to be aware of their surroundings, to avoid confrontations when possible, but to be decisively aggressive when an attack is unavoidable. The mindset is just as important as the physical techniques. You learn to be a fighter, not a victim, and to do whatever it takes to win the fight and protect your life. This system is for everyone. It does not matter if you are big or small, male or female, young or old. The techniques do not rely on brute strength or athletic ability. They rely on leverage, timing, and targeting vulnerable points on the attacker's body. An eye gouge or a groin kick works regardless of how strong your opponent is. This is why Krav Maga is so effective for so many different people. It empowers individuals by giving them realistic skills that can be used to defend themselves and their loved ones. It is a journey of empowerment, building confidence one class at a time. The story of Krav Maga is a story of survival, born from a time of great violence and persecution. Its creator was a man named Imi Lichtenfeld. Imi was born in Budapest in 1910 and grew up in Bratislava, Slovakia. His father was a police chief and owned a gym where he taught self-defense. From a young age, Imi was an exceptional athlete. He excelled in wrestling, boxing, and gymnastics. He won national and international championships, but his greatest test would not come in the sports arena. It would come on the streets of his city, where he would be forced to fight for his life. In the late 1930s, fascist and anti-Semitic groups rose to power across Europe. Violent gangs began to attack the Jewish community in Bratislava. Imi, with his formidable fighting skills, became the unofficial protector of his neighborhood. He organized a group of young Jewish men to defend their community against these vicious attacks. In these brutal street fights, Imi quickly learned what worked and what didn't. He realized that the rules and etiquette of sport fighting had no place in a life-or-death struggle. There was no referee to stop the fight. There were no weight classes. He had to use any means necessary to survive and protect others. These experiences were the foundation of Krav Maga. Imi began to refine his techniques, taking the most effective elements from boxing, wrestling, and other fighting styles. He combined them with his own innovations, focusing on simple, direct movements that could be used by anyone, regardless of their size or athletic background. He taught his friends and neighbors how to defend against multiple attackers, how to use their environment as a weapon, and how to fight with unwavering aggression. He was creating a system forged in the fires of real-world violence, designed for the sole purpose of staying alive against a determined enemy. In 1942, Imi managed to escape the horrors of Europe and immigrate to what was then British-mandated Palestine. His reputation as a skilled fighter preceded him. He was soon recruited by the Haganah, the Jewish paramilitary organization that would later become the Israel Defense Forces. He began teaching the soldiers his unique system of hand-to-hand combat. When Israel became a state in 1948, Imi was appointed the chief instructor for physical fitness and Krav Maga at the IDF School of Combat Fitness. For nearly 20 years, he developed and refined Krav Maga, tailoring it to meet the needs of the Israeli military. This is where the system was truly formalized and became the official combat system of the IDF. One of the most important distinctions to understand about Krav Maga is that it is not a sport. Other martial arts like karate, judo or taekwondo have rules, competitions and a focus on scoring points. They are beautiful disciplines that build character, skill and athleticism. However, they are bound by regulations that do not exist in a real street fight. In a Krav Maga class, you'll never hear a coach talk about scoring points or winning a match. The only win that matters is surviving the encounter and going home safe. This fundamental difference in philosophy shapes every aspect of our training. Because Krav Maga is not a sport, there are no forbidden techniques. In a real attack, there is no such thing as an illegal move. An attacker will not hesitate to bite, gouge your eyes, or kick you when you are down. To prepare for this reality, we teach our students to do the same. We train to attack the body's most vulnerable points, the eyes, throat, groin, and knees. These are targets that can incapacitate an opponent quickly, regardless of their size or tolerance for pain. This focus on dirty fighting is not about being malicious. It is about being realistic. It is about ending a violent confrontation as fast as possible to minimize the danger to yourself. Another key difference is our approach to sparring and fighting. While traditional martial arts have sparring that follows a strict set of rules, our simulations are designed to mimic the chaos and stress of a real attack. We train under pressure, with instructors yelling in low-light conditions and from positions of disadvantage. We practice defending against multiple attackers and dealing with the adrenaline dump that occurs during a violent encounter. The goal is not to see who is the better fighter in a controlled environment, but to test your ability to function and apply your techniques when you are scared, tired, and under immense stress. Finally, the uniforms and traditions are different. In many martial arts, there is a formal uniform and a system of belts and rituals that have been passed down for centuries. In Krav Maga, we train in regular street clothes and athletic shoes. This is because you are most likely to be attacked while you are going about your daily life, not while wearing a special uniform. Our ranking system is practical, designed to mark a student's progress and understanding of the curriculum. The focus is always on the practical application of the techniques, not on ceremony or tradition. We respect the history, but our priority is always on what works now on the street. The entire Krav Maga system is built upon a few core principles. The first and most important of these is simplicity. A self-defense technique is useless if you cannot perform it under the extreme stress of a real attack. When you are afraid, your fine motor skills deteriorate. Complex movements become impossible to execute. That is why Krav Maga techniques are based on simple, gross motor movements. We use the body's natural instincts and reactions as the foundation for our defenses. A block is a simple motion to protect your head. A kick is a simple, powerful movement. This simplicity makes the techniques easier to learn, easier to remember, and easier to perform when your life depends on it. The second principle is efficiency. In a violent encounter, time is your enemy. The longer a fight goes on, the greater the risk of injury or death. Every movement in Krav Maga is designed to be as efficient as possible. We teach students to defend and attack simultaneously. For example, as you block a punch, you are also delivering a counterattack. We call this retzef, which is Hebrew for continuous motion. You do not block, then pause, then attack. You explode with a continuous, overwhelming series of attacks until the threat is no longer a threat. The goal is to neutralize the attacker in the shortest amount of time possible, using the least amount of energy necessary. The third, and perhaps most defining principle, is the focus on real-world scenarios. We do not train in a vacuum. We constantly ask ourselves, will this work on the street? Our training is based entirely on the realities of modern violence. This means we train to defend against common attacks, such as chokes, headlocks, and grabs. It also means we train extensively to deal with armed attackers. We have specific defenses for threats involving knives, sticks, and firearms. The training environment is designed to be as realistic as possible, preparing students for the psychological and physical challenges of a real confrontation. We address the what-ifs that many other systems ignore. These principles work together to create a cohesive and logical system of self-defense. Simplicity allows for performance under stress. Efficiency ensures that the confrontation is ended quickly. The focus on reality guarantees that what you are learning is relevant and applicable to the dangers you might actually face. This philosophy empowers students by giving them a toolbox of techniques and a mindset that is practical, not theoretical. It strips away the non-essential and focuses on one thing, what you need to do to survive. This pragmatic approach is the heart and soul of Krav Maga. Krav Maga's effectiveness was first proven on the battlefield. It is the official hand-to-hand combat system of the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF. Every Israeli soldier, from infantry to intelligence officers, learns Krav Maga during their basic training. The military version is tailored for soldiers who are operating in hostile environments, often while carrying equipment and a rifle. The techniques are designed to be aggressive and lethal, focusing on quickly disabling an enemy combatant. The IDF's continued reliance on Krav Maga for over 70 years is a powerful testament to its effectiveness in the most demanding situations imaginable. It is a system proven under fire. This success in the military led to its adoption by law enforcement and security agencies around the world. Police officers face a different set of challenges than soldiers. They need to control and apprehend suspects while minimizing injury to both the suspect and themselves. They must operate within the constraints of the law. Krav Maga has been adapted for these needs, with an emphasis on control holds, weapon retention techniques, and arrest procedures. Agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and numerous state and local police departments in the United States, as well as forces in Europe and South America, train their officers in Krav Maga because it provides practical, effective solutions for the situations they face daily on the streets. The greatest evolution of Krav Maga, however, was its adaptation for civilian use. After Emil Lichtenfeld retired from the military, he began to modify the system for ordinary people. He understood that a civilian's needs are different from a soldier's or a police officer's. The goal for a civilian is not to apprehend or kill, but to escape. The civilian version of Krav Maga focuses on self-defense, teaching people how to identify and avoid danger, and how to fight back effectively only when necessary to create an opportunity to get away safely. This adaptation opened the door for men, women, and children from all walks of life to learn how to protect themselves. Today, Krav Maga is practiced by millions of civilians worldwide. People learn it for a variety of reasons. Some have been victims of violence and want to ensure it never happens again. Others are parents who want to be able to protect their children. Many are simply looking for a practical way to stay in shape while learning a valuable life skill. The beauty of the system is its scalability. A small woman can learn to use leverage and vulnerable points to defend against a much larger man. An older individual can learn simple, effective techniques that do not require youthful athleticism. Krav Maga empowers all of these people, giving them the confidence and the capability to walk in peace. Sarah was a young graphic designer who lived in a large city. She loved the energy and excitement of urban life, but she often felt a nagging sense of vulnerability. Walking home from the subway late at night, she would clutch her keys in her hand, her heart pounding with every shadow that moved. A friend who had been training in Krav Maga suggested she try a class. Sarah was hesitant. She had never been in a fight in her life and considered herself to be non-athletic. The idea of a combat class was intimidating, but her desire to feel safe was stronger than her fear. She decided to sign up for an introductory lesson. Her first class was a revelation. The instructor was welcoming, and the other students were just regular people like her. They were nurses, teachers, and office workers. The warm-up was challenging, but the instructor emphasized that everyone should go at their own pace. Then they learned their first technique, a simple defense against a wrist grab. The instructor broke it down into small, manageable steps. Use your other hand to reinforce your grip. Turn your wrist toward the weak point of the attacker's grip, the thumb. Step aggressively and pull away. Sarah practiced with a partner, and to her amazement, it worked. She felt a small spark of empowerment. Over the next few months, Sarah became a dedicated student. She attended classes 2 or 3 times a week. She learned how to throw a proper punch, how to deliver a powerful kick to the groin, and how to defend against chokes and headlocks. The training was physically demanding, and she found herself getting stronger and more fit than ever before. But the biggest change was mental. With each new technique she mastered, her confidence grew. The drills, where instructors would simulate aggressive attacks, helped her learn to manage fear and adrenaline. She was no longer just practicing moves, she was training her mind to react under pressure. One evening, as Sarah was walking home, a man stepped out from a dark alley and blocked her path, demanding her purse. A year ago, she would have frozen in terror. But now, her training took over. As the man reached for her bag, her body reacted instinctively. She simultaneously struck his throat with the palm of her hand and stomped on his instep. The man gasped in pain and surprise, stumbling backward. That was the opening she needed. She didn't stay to fight. She turned and ran, not stopping until she reached a well-lit, populated street. She was shaking, but she was safe. Krav Maga hadn't just taught her how to fight. It had given her the gift of her own safety. Krav Maga training begins with a solid foundation. The first thing every student learns is the fighting stance. It is a simple, neutral stance that allows for quick movement in any direction. Your feet are shoulder-width apart with one foot slightly forward. Your knees are bent, keeping your center of gravity low. Your hands are up in a passive position, open and non-threatening, but ready to defend or strike in an instant. This stance is a crucial starting point because it provides balance and prepares the body for immediate action. From this ready position, all other techniques can be launched effectively and efficiently. The next step is learning how to strike. Krav Maga striking is not about scoring points, it's about causing maximum damage to stop an attacker. We teach students to use their natural weapons. This includes palm heel strikes, which are safer for your hand and very effective against the nose or chin. We teach punches, focusing on using the whole body to generate power. We also emphasize powerful kicks to low targets, such as the groin or the knees. These low kicks are fast, powerful, and difficult to defend against. Students practice these strikes over and over on pads and heavy bags to build power, speed, and muscle memory. Defense is just as important as offense. A core concept in Krav Maga is the 360 defense. This is a principle that teaches you to defend against attacks coming from any angle. The defenses use the body's natural flinch response. When something comes at your head, you instinctively raise your hands to block it. We refine this motion, turning it into a solid defense that deflects the attack while simultaneously creating an opening for a counterattack. We practice defenses against punches, kicks, chokes, and grabs, always following the same principle. Defend and counterattack in one continuous explosive motion. A typical training session combines all these elements. It usually starts with a vigorous warm-up to prepare the body and get the heart rate up. This is followed by drilling specific techniques where students partner up to practice attacks and defenses. The instructor provides feedback and corrections to ensure proper form. The class often culminates in stress drills. These drills simulate the chaos of a real attack, forcing students to use their techniques under pressure. This might involve defending against multiple attackers, dealing with fatigue, or reacting in a low-light environment. This combination of technical drilling and realistic simulation is what makes Krav Maga training so effective. From its humble beginnings on the streets of Bratislava and its formalization within the Israeli military, Krav Maga has grown into a truly global phenomenon. After Imi Lichtenfeld adapted the system for civilian use, he and his top students began the process of spreading it beyond the borders of Israel. One of the key figures in this expansion was me, along with others who traveled to Israel to learn directly from Imi. We were so impressed by the system's effectiveness and practicality that we dedicated our lives to bringing it back to our home countries. In the early 1980s, the first Krav Maga schools began to open in the United States. The initial growth was slow. It was spread by word of mouth, primarily within law enforcement and martial arts communities. But as people experienced the system for themselves, its reputation grew. People were drawn to its no-nonsense approach and its clear focus on real-world self-defense. Unlike many traditional martial arts that seemed more like art forms, Krav Maga was a solution to a problem. It answered the question, what do I do if someone attacks me? This practical appeal resonated with people from all walks of life, and the demand for qualified instructors began to surge across North America and Europe. Today, you can find certified Krav Maga training centers in almost every major city on every continent. From Los Angeles to London, from Sydney to Sao Paulo, thousands of schools are teaching the same core principles and techniques that Emil Lichtenfeld developed. Global organizations such as Krav Maga Worldwide have been established to maintain the quality and integrity of the system. These organizations certify instructors, develop curriculum, and ensure that students are receiving authentic and effective training, no matter where they are in the world. This global network has created a strong and supportive international community of practitioners. The worldwide spread of Krav Maga has been fueled by our modern media landscape. Movies, television shows, and the internet have showcased the system's brutal efficiency, capturing the public's imagination. While Hollywood portrayals are often stylized, they have introduced millions of people to the name and the concept of Krav Maga. This has driven countless individuals to seek out local training centers, wanting to learn the same skills they saw on screen. The result is a diverse and ever-growing community of students united by a common goal: to learn how to protect themselves and to walk through the world with greater confidence and peace of mind. In our modern world, the need for practical self-defense is more important than ever. We live in unpredictable times, and while we all hope to avoid violence, hope is not a strategy. The ability to protect yourself and your loved ones is a fundamental skill. Krav Maga provides a direct and effective answer to this need. It is not about promoting violence, it is about preventing it. It is about having the tools to stop a violent act from succeeding. Learning Krav Maga is an investment in your own safety, a form of insurance that you carry with you at all times. It gives you a real choice in situations where you might otherwise be a helpless victim. The benefits of training extend far beyond the physical techniques. The confidence that comes from knowing you can defend yourself is transformative. This is not arrogance or a desire to fight. It is a quiet, internal confidence that changes how you carry yourself and how you perceive the world. You learn to be more aware of your surroundings, making you less likely to be targeted in the first place. This newfound self-assurance permeates every area of your life, from your personal relationships to your professional career. You learn to set boundaries, to be assertive, and to face challenges with a stronger, more resilient mindset. Krav Maga also builds a powerful sense of community. When you train with others, you are all sweating, struggling, and succeeding together. You build bonds of trust and mutual respect with your training partners. You are part of a team that supports and motivates each other. This community becomes a source of strength and encouragement, both inside and outside the gym. In a world that can often feel isolating, being part of a positive and empowering group is an invaluable asset. You are not just learning to fight for yourself, you are learning alongside others who share your commitment to personal safety and growth. Ultimately, Krav Maga matters because it empowers people. It takes away the fear of the unknown and replaces it with competence and preparedness. It teaches that your safety is your own responsibility and gives you the means to uphold that responsibility. Whether you are a soldier on the battlefield, a police officer on patrol, or a civilian walking home from work, the principles of Krav Maga provide a path to survival. It is a system that gives you the ability to fight back, to protect what matters most, and to go home safe at the end of the day. In today's world, there is no skill more vital.